Hello people of the internet, it's Amanda, and today's video is about a drama that adds to that list of why I love J-dramas and Asian dramas in the first place as compared to like Western TV shows. I'm talking about Sanen A-Gumi, Ima kara Minna-san wa Hitojichi desu. So I think I butchered the last part there, but it basically also translates to Class 3A. From now on, you are all my hostages, or another name for this drama would be Hiragii-sensei's homeroom class. Being honest, I didn't really know what I was getting into when I started watching this drama. I have heard of it, but I've only heard of like the first part of the title, which is Sanen A-Gumi. So I figured that, okay, so this is gonna be similar to Gokusen, right? But I didn't really know the extent of it. I've been seeing sort of like photos from the cast because I follow some of them on Instagram. Before I start rambling about the things that I love about it, things like comments on the plot and how some episodes were delivered, I want to say that let's talk about the plot first. So it is about Hiragii-Ibuki, which is this homeroom teacher that barricaded his homeroom class in school by basically bombing the place. Yeah, it's as straightforward as that, and obviously the students within the class are so surprised, they're really scared about what's happening. There's this teacher who's just gone crazy and threatening to kill them and all that, and they have to cooperate. And the initial central idea of it is because one of their classmates committed suicide a couple of months before it happened, and at first it seemed like it was a revenge plot or just an investigation as to why that happened to that particular classmate. The thing about this story is that it definitely peels off a lot of layers while it develops, and at the beginning of it, you know, it made me realize that because these topics are pretty much like something that is open when it comes to Japanese society in a way, as compared to like in Western setups where mental health used to be such a taboo. But then for Asia, they have been discussing these issues a very long time in pop culture, in many different manifestations, because it is an occurrence that is embraced by the culture itself. And I have seen a lot of J-dramas specifically that talk about these types of issues unapologetically. It's very raw in its presentation, and even if, like, for example, for this one, it revolves around a very exaggerated plot of like a teacher staging a bombing to corner his students and to find out about the truth about this particular incident. The core of it is still there. The core of it is that there's someone in here who did this, and it's not just that life that is lost, but basically the lives around it as well. Like, there is an implication, and there is something that it has to be talked about, and not just kept, it's not just something that should be hushed about. And that's what I like about these types of Asian dramas and Japanese dramas specifically, because this is not a first time that mental health or suicide is discussed in a drama or in anime. There are a lot of manifestations of it, and what I like about it is that as compared to like how Western dramas treat it in a way, is that it doesn't just focus on, okay, so here's the victim blaming basically everyone else in their life. It's not that. It focuses on the individual and their struggle, and the people around them either not knowing about it, not caring enough about it, or they think that they're harmless, but then every single act accumulates into what this person is feeling. If, like, for example, it's caught between like a very crazy plot line, you still wouldn't miss it because it's right in your face. It's telling you this is something that's happening. This is how we as a society is trying to send a message across. And yeah, I mean, this is something that I think San and A-Gumi really did a great job in terms of delivering. Now, in terms of the arc of it all, it not just covers, for example, an individual struggle, but it also talks about, you know, how it's okay to talk about things, to talk about problems. And it also talks about how you shouldn't run away from your problems, which is something that is this big topic when it comes to J-dramas. Or like, for example, you shouldn't hold your convictions, or you shouldn't compromise your convictions just because someone treats you like, you have to look at the bigger picture most of the time. Not everything is just in the surface. This series also illustrates a lot of sort of like important notes or important things that people should be doing but not necessarily are doing. For example, the main character's catchphrase, Hiragii-Ibuki's catchphrase, is "let's think." And you would think that, what the heck does that even mean? But after watching the entire series, the main point of it is that before you do or say or think or just talk about someone else or act on something, you should definitely just think about the consequences first. You should develop some sort of like empathy, in a way that you should think that if I do this to someone, how would I feel if someone does this to me? And that is the main point of this entire series. I love how it also criticized social media in a way, or social networking sites, and how people have become so strong in a way because of the anonymity that it provides. But in the end of it all, you just have that particular strength because you don't understand the consequences of what you're doing. If I were to illustrate, like, one of my most favorite parts of the series is that at episode 10, at the conclusion of the series, there's this long monologue of Hiragii-Ibuki, and he was talking to the users of social media about like what happened in the plot, and how they played such a massive role when it comes to this disaster, this incident that's not just happened to one student, but basically every other person that could have been a victim of internet violence or cyberbullying or something like that. And the framing that they did was like, he was talking to you through your screen while you're watching it, and it's such a strong and raw feeling of just watching that. I don't know, I cried at that scene. You have to go ahead and watch it in full impact, but to me, I think that was genius, that the type of like framing and delivery of the line. One thing that I have to note about this particular series though is it has parts where it's really melodramatic, like when the students are confessing on the things that they have done, on things that they feel guilty about, that they don't feel guilty about. It can be like a wide stretch of just crying and explaining and things, but watching it all, you know, it definitely ties together. And I do think that this is why Japanese dramas are really good in terms of exploring these topics, is because they don't just stick to conventional type of storytelling where it has to be this type of formula for it to work. No, they really have, like, they really go to lengths to think of like weird plot lines and how characters would explain, like, you know how funny it is in anime where basically every single thing has like a backstory. Like when someone is about to do their spike, a backstory flashes in. I think that is something that also trickles down to J-drama, and how these lengthy scenes, you know, they're not cut for reasons that just because we want it to be presentable. It's really directed to people who know what they're getting into and know that these are what J-dramas are like. I do feel like it's a reason why not a lot of people lean towards J-drama as compared to like K-drama. It's because they initially find the plots of J-drama weird, but then at the same time, and I think it's very most of them have a really like dark or even sad or somber notes to it that not a lot of people watch. Like even the most comedic J-dramas, like say Hanakimi or Hana Yoridango, which is supposedly about romance, there's always a message to there of believing in yourself, of something much deeper than the surface, which is very similar to what this drama is like. Like at first it seems exaggerated, psychotic even, but then the message of it all and why it has to be this exaggerated comes across to the viewer, and you come off entertained, but at the same time the message of the drama is very clear and very raw. And this one, I do feel like this is why Sanen A-Gumi is something that I didn't expect I would like as much, but I did. It's definitely something of like Gokusen level, but then leveled up with a wee bit of craziness, and also at the same time an updated version because it commentates on the world that we live in today, which is mediated by technology. And I do feel like I just basically rambled the entire time talking about it. Like I think I usually do this on my videos. I don't really talk much about it, but how it made me feel, I'm so sorry about it. Again, not a professional reviewer. Right, so with that, tell me down in the comments below, have you seen this particular drama? What do you think of it? Are you planning to watch it? What's your favorite sort of like teacher drama, like Gokusen, Sanen A-Gumi, these types of like teacher genres? And tell me down in the comments below what you think of it. And yeah, with that, thank you so much for watching. If you want to hear more from me, please hit subscribe, and I'll be seeing you again soon in a new video. Bye!